For most of us, range merging is this phrase we hear all the time, but have no idea what it means. I actually think this is quite appropriate for most poker players, because for range merging to be effective, you have to be playing against really good opponents, and you have to play against the same players day after day. Let's still talk about range merging though, for two reasons. One, for your own edification as a student of the game, and two, as an insurance policy in case you become one of these great players playing stiff competition day after day. First, we'll sketch a diagram of what range merging means conceptually. At the bottom of the screen, we have four broad categories of the hand strength that you or your opponent might have in a river situation. At the far right, we have the nuts, a full house, a flush, a set, depending on the board texture. And at the far left, we have bluffs. There's two categories in the middle, though, that are quite interesting. The hands that have strength just below nuts, we'll call them medium strength hands. And the hands in between medium strength hands and bluffs, maybe ace high, top pair with a weak kicker on certain boards, we call these bluff catchers, abbreviated BCs. Now, if you don't know what bluff catchers are, check out our video on the topic right now. It's absolutely essential to know this to understand range merging. In short, bluff catchers are hands that, when you're out of position, you can't bet. They're not strong enough to bet because you're only going to get called by better hands. So you elect to check call, basically trying to induce a bluff from your opponent. And if you're in position, they're certainly not strong enough to raise, but some percentage of the time you call because you want to catch when your opponent is purely bluffing. The two segments of our potential river range that are in green are hands that we, as a good player, would bet. With a smiley face, we'd bet bluffs on the river, and we'd also bet the nuts. We call this a polarized river betting range, which is actually quite appropriate. If you think about it, we'd certainly want to bet the nuts, but over time, a thinking opponent would stop calling our river bets. So we have to balance our nut bets with something, and we decide to do it the cheapest way possible. We balance them with bluffs. That way, when we get re-raised, we just fold. Now, good opponents, they recognize when we have a polarized river betting range. So some percentage of the time, our opponent, unhappy face, he'll call, and he calls with bluff catchers. So what about medium strength hands? Well, these are hands that we will check or call a bet from our opponent. So we'll check call or check back. So what we've drawn here is our betting range on the river, which is in green, and our checking and calling range on the river, which is purple. And in orange, you can think of that as our opponent's calling range. So what is range merging then? Well, it's dipping into our medium strength hand range to extend our river betting range. We're still polarized, but we're not just betting bluffs in the nuts. We're betting bluffs, nuts, and some of our medium strength hands. We're merging our river betting behavior beyond the nuts into our mid-strength hand range. Not only does this mean we'll get more value from a thinking opponent who's trying to bluff catch against us, but it also means that when he sees our range merging, when we turn over a mid-strength hand on the river, and he has a bluff catcher, he's now all of a sudden afraid in the future to even attempt to bluff catch against us. So range merging isn't an essential tool if you're a great poker player against great competition, and it's a very profitable tool if you're a great poker player against just good competition. Now, a diagram can be a little difficult to understand, so let's now go through a hand example. It'll just be a heads-up pot. The flop will come out king, king 2. Let's say we have 6, 7 of spades. Hello, YouTube. First off, congratulations on making it halfway through our range merging video. It's not an easy topic, so we're impressed with your persistence. Good job. We want you to keep learning though. Watch the entire second half of this video. You'll get the full range merging hand example on our website. It's really easy to get there. Just click the direct link in the description box right below this video.